Hey, it's Mac. Welcome to Holistic Health Talk. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I'm a holistic practitioner and nutritionist. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. We're on location in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Sitting here with me is Hugh with Foot Solutions. How you doing, Hugh?
I'm doing great.
Good. We're going to talk with Hugh today about different foot problems and hopefully give y'all some solutions for those out there who have different foot problems. I know I had foot problems and still have some challenges with my feet. Back in the days when I used to run, I used to have a lot of foot problems too. A lot of times when I was maybe just wearing the wrong shoes. So we're going to see what Hugh has to say. But before we get into that, Hugh, why don't you give our listeners a little background on yourself?
Foot Solutions was something that actually evolved. I started out in the gym business doing personal training and was actually had a lot of clients that had different foot ailments, experienced a lot of foot pain, knee pain, back pain, and other things that actually affected the way they couldn't work out or couldn't work out long enough. They will get started and then the pain sets in and they can't continue. At a time when there are a lot of chains were coming in, most of the independents in the gym business, I saw it as a time to actually look for something else to do. And so I saw it as an opportunity to actually, as something that I could do and help people. Because I've always loved working with people and helping people, so.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of the people you worked with in the gym as a personal trainer had these different foot problems they was coming in there with, and then they started experiencing this pain. I know I used to be one of those when I was practicing martial arts, and it would stop or hinder what they was doing in the gym.
Yes.
And you took note of that, and that got you to go into this business of Foot Solutions.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, let's talk about some of those foot problems that some of these people had.
Some of the problems, major problem, most common is ill-fitting shoes or not very supportive shoes.
Okay.
That especially people that grew up in the 70s are so used to wearing sneakers that were very light, like the Keds and stuff like that. So they always tend to gravitate towards shoes that were not so supportive and think they can go and do exercise or run in those kind of shoes, which usually created a lot of problems for them.
Okay. And back in those times, I know gym shoes, tennis shoes, whatever, have drastically changed from the 70s to now. We have all these shoes that look real clunky and big, but they have all these different structures on them and things like that that help to support the foot more.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know there was a time in my life when I was, I'm very physical and active in martial arts and different things. And even though my foot hurt, I continued to work out. And I think I probably just maybe exacerbated or made my pain or my foot problems even worse by doing that. Would you say?
Yes. No, I mean, a lot of times it does. Also, some people also go with the perception that no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So think that pain is part of their package in exercising or doing any kind of athletic activity. So even though there's a pain, sometimes people ignore it till it becomes a major problem.
Okay. So no pain, no gain. That's something that you really should not be in tune with or attuned to when it comes to the body,
yes,
especially the foot.
Yes.
Now let's talk about some of these ill-fitting shoes. People that I know at one time I used to just go in the store and say, hey, give me this size or give me that size. And people, I was being told that I needed a wider shoe at one time. And I wasn't quite sure why I needed a wider shoe. I know I'd had foot surgery and I had callus under, well I still do, under my
the ball of the foot?
The small toe.
Okay.
Actually. That callus became so excruciatingly painful that I couldn't stand up when I was working. And I used to work in this sheet metal shop. I couldn't even stand up and do my job because my work was mostly on my feet. I had to get surgery, and I got the surgery 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, I think, 4-5 years. I was okay. I didn't have that pain. But then I started noticing that pain started to come back. Now, why it did, I don't know if I was wearing the wrong shoe or what, but later I found out that even though people have surgery, surgery is not like the ultimate solution. It's not just going to take away everything totally. It helped me for about 4 or 5 years, but still today I am dealing with that from time to time, that pain.
Because usually with stuff like that, usually the source of the problem was never dealt with. They just dealt with the symptom.
Okay.
So since the symptoms was just addressed, the source of the problem was never addressed. And it sounds like, from what I hear, it's actually has to do something to do with either an arch collapse problem, whereby if the arches are still collapsing over the years, that's why most of the pain comes back. It's the same reason why some people get bunion surgery and a couple of years later the bunion grows back, because the bunion, which was surgically repaired, only fixed the symptoms and the aesthetic.
Right.
The foot looks better for a while, but what's causing the bunion was never addressed.
There you go. And that was it. I mean, I do have flat feet. And having flat feet, I've had a lot of problems with my feet. And so I didn't realize and learn till I started doing a lot of research on my own and going to different podiatrists and different with other people about my foot, that, hey, you can do all these different surgeries, but you're not addressing the real problem, like you say. So what kind of helped me was finding these other alternative ways, like chiropractic. I went into the different soles and things like that, the arch supports. And then I had a few podiatrists during my time actually customize and make me arch supports to go inside my shoes.
Yes.
Right. So I wear orthotic. I don't wear them as much, because today I've found, and I don't want this to be all about me, but I've found shoes that are more supportive because I overpronate. And basically, you could tell them, I guess, what overpronation, if people don't know, kind of in layman terms, what overpronation is.
Overpronation is actually what happens when the arches starts to collapse severely. When the arches starts to severely collapse, the best thing to say is the ankles starts to roll inwards, more towards the medial side, the inside part. So your ankles tend to roll inwards. And that's the best way to explain overpronation.
Okay.
And then there are some people that do the opposite.
Yeah,
they roll out.
I
Those
think
are
that's mine.
more supination.
Okay.
But most people, 85% of people are pronators. They pronate, they roll in. Like for someone like you might think you supinate, but you're actually still a pronator. You overcompensate by walking that way.
Okay.
It's a difference.
Okay. I'll take your word on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've went through a lot of different things with my feet, and I'm always open to new ideas about it. So today, this for me, it's like 1984 when I had surgery on my feet. And I chose not to have no more surgeries when that pain came back after 4 or 5 years. Now, and I'm not trying to promote no brands, but I found some Nikes that have that support in them that helps people that overpronate. So basically, it stops my foot from rolling from side to side. And going to chiropractors, one of them told me I need to focus more, and you can maybe add something on this. When I walk, make sure my heel hits the ground first and then on the toes. I have to make sure when I walk, heel and then toe, heel and then toe. Because he said that would help me to walk better and maybe not have that pain. Can you add something on that?
That practice sometimes is very difficult to teach because some people have walked a certain way their whole life.
Yeah.
And trying to teach all the new tricks is a lot harder than the simplistic terms in which people try to say. Because something at some point becomes a subconscious thing you do.
Right.
Instincts take over, and that's the way you walk. Sometimes it's harder to retrain. Than that simple concept is maybe easier to do with a 5-year-old than with someone who's 50 years old.
Okay.
So
easier said than done. Yeah.
And a lot of times, the second thing is when people try to retrain the way they walk, sometimes structural problems start to occur, whereby the foot feels better, but the knee and hips may not feel so good.
Okay.
because you're trying to rotate and walk differently, that puts pressure on the joints. It starts to create other problems. So it's not always as simple as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But usually the best way to do, we found, is usually there are inserts you can get that will help retrain the way you walk. They're called biomechanical supports.
Okay.
They actually control the foot throughout the gait cycle. So the way you walk can be retrained without you having to think about it. You can walk the way you walk, but when you have certain inserts that control when you stand to roll in, it pushes you out. And there are other things that you can do that. So certain inserts, they're called biomechanical supports. They tend to, and there are other supports also, like a stability support that can, like you mentioned, the sneaker you're wearing.
Yeah.
Sometimes the base, they have a stability sneaker that helps, or they have motion control sneakers.
Right.
Different kinds of sneakers and other things can help better than you trying to
think about how to walk right.
Yes, because it creates more other problems.
Okay, so let's talk about these biomechanical inserts you said.
Yes.
How these are things you can stick in your shoe then? Huh?
Yes, usually you just take the liners, original liners that come in the shoe out,
right,
and that goes in place of it.
Okay. Now, are these like custom made, or
usually they are? In order for it to be effective, usually a biomechanical support, because everybody's rotation is different.
Right.
So until it's made custom, unfortunately, you're not. It cannot one size fit all kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, there are some pre-made inserts that sometimes we can add some stability to that can help control the foot too.
Okay.
Those are pre-made inserts that we can try and customize for you. Those can help as well, but usually a biomechanical support is usually a complete custom insert that you use.
Okay, so the biomechanical, it sounds like this is something that is custom made for this person.
Yes.
And their problem, what's ever going on for them. So this is not something they're going to be able to come in the store and pull off of your shelf, and get right then.
No.
Okay, so it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that these biomechanical inserts are a little more comprehensive and they deal with problems in a way that your ready-made inserts are not made to do.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good.
So these we usually will do a gait analysis, whereby a gait analysis we actually check the way you walk.
Okay, is
And
that when
then-
you come in the store and they say, okay, walk this way for me, or walk that way, let me see how you walk?
Yes.
Okay.
So based on the way someone walks, we can, and then the way their foot type and everything else, then we can design a support that would help correct some of that, rather than having the person learn how to walk a certain way.
Do you have to take like an imprint of their foot? I know I've been in some places where they have some type of material or a piece of paper, and they have you step on that paper, and when you pull your foot up, it has like an imprint of your foot. Do y'all do anything like that?
We used to. That's that kind of method for the most part has been abandoned because a little bit it's not very accurate.
Okay.
It's open to too much human error.
Okay.
So today, most of it, everything is done computerized. Using 3D imaging, we can actually scan the foot and create an actual image of the foot and then make an insert to support
Okay.
and correct
So what
it.
do you have, like a tool or something?
We actually have a whole system where you actually put your foot on and then we actually scan the foot.
Okay, is that
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Okay, they have this machine here. Okay, so I would stand on that?
Yeah, no, you actually just put your foot on there and basically we scan the foot. It's a 3D imaging system.
Okay, so
Yeah, man.
when you get that information in the computer, it's a lot more accurate than a lot of the ways, like I guess I've done in the past, where you step on this piece of paper and things
yeah.
like that.
We used to also do the molds of the foot.
Right, I had the molds too.
Yeah, now the molds have been done also, but all those things have been gradually evolving more into computerized systems where they actually do either CAD/CAM technology or some kind of 3D technology.
Okay, so newer technology now for those who used to use the old plaster. I know I had my foot and leg all plastered and stuff, look like a cast, and then the podiatrist takes that off and they go make you orthotics from it. So today they use the computer, and Hugh has a piece of equipment in here where he can scan your foot and get a more accurate analysis, I guess, of what's going on with your foot problem.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. I don't think I've ever seen any equipment like that or ran across any podiatrists that had that. Good. So let's talk a little bit, I guess, about some of the unusual things that you've seen or come across as far as foot problems, Hugh.
Most common foot problems that it may seem minor to some people, things like a hammer toe.
A hammer toe?
Yes.
Okay.
Most people don't even realize they have a hammer toe. But for women that wear a lot of pumps, it's very common, whereby the toes tend to be develop into a claw shape.
Almost look like a claw. I've seen some females like that.
And usually whenever even they go into a flat, the toes seem to hit the roof of the shoe, and it puts pressure on the top of the toes. And usually those kind of people with time have to always look for shoes that have deeper toe box, extra depth shoes they're called, to accommodate the toes.
So what causes this hammer toe that so many females may have?
Hammer toes is not something that's exclusive to females. It's more common with them. It happens more commonly with people that wear dress pumps, but it also can be developed by just one poorly fitting shoes can cause it.
Okay.
Or like dress pumps, when you're in dress pump, you tend to be in a more unstable position, so you tend to always want to grip the ground, so your toes get into that claw position.
Okay.
Jamming your toes into shoes that are too small can cause them as well because of time, if you're doing that. So, and we see that with men that wear wingtips all the time also.
Okay.
That very pointy.
Yeah, the real point. I used to wear all the little Italian shoes, the Fodies, the Codys, or whatever, and all of them. I used to wear them and got out of them because I saw they was causing all kind of pain in my feet.
Yes.
You women out there wearing all those pumps, I know y'all already know that your feet be hurting from them, but y'all want to look cute and pretty. So maybe Hugh can give y'all some recommendations, and you guys that's wearing all them keen-toed shoes, them Italian-made, pointed-toed and things, and having problems with your foot. Maybe we can help y'all out there. So what do you recommend, I guess, for the women? And a lot of them I know are going to continue to wear those pumps. Maybe wearing a shorter pump or something, or what can they do for that?
Yeah, they can try and go to a shorter pump. Or when they're in a really high heel pump, they can always put some kind of arch support to support the midfoot a little bit better.
In the pump?
Yes.
Because some of those pumps, the way they wear them, they just have these little skinny straps, and you can see just about anything. So would they be able to see? Because I know women going to be worried about that. Would they be able to see the support under there?
Well, sometimes dress supports are so thin these days that you can even fit them in those kind of shoes.
Okay, you hear that, women? So y'all don't have to worry about these supports being seen. You know, you can come and talk to Hugh maybe about some recommendations, because I know y'all feet be hurting in those high heels, and you want to worry about them being seen. So what are some other things you can recommend that women do for the pain they be having from these pumps? Just stop wearing pumps.
Well, the world in which we live in today, some people have to dress up, and what's considered dress up is not exact sneakers and a dress don't go together.
No orthotic style shoes.
So, but what you can always do is not give your foot a break. You wear it one day, you take a break from it, and do a flat the following day.
Okay, so if you wear them every day, just make sure you take them off right away when you're not out. Or maybe even maybe some of them already do this, bring to work a pair of nice supportive shoes, or supportive tennis shoes to wear at work, and then when you go outside, put your pumps back on.
Yeah, no, just or you can wear it for the day, and then the following day give your foot a break by wearing a flat the following day.
So alternate, but the more that you give your foot a rest, then that's going to help your situation. Now, how do you feel about this? I've heard about being barefoot, because I know in some countries out there that people don't wear shoes. In these civilized countries like America and UK and places like that, we all wear shoes. So if you went barefoot, would that help? If you had all these different foot problems and you just walk around the house or wherever you can barefooted? Because I see some people in public walk around barefooted too, though.
Well, the barefoot idea sounds good, but unfortunately, not everybody lives on the beach. You're referring to places where people don't wear shoes.
Right.
And usually it's a third world country where there are no paved roads, they're not concrete. These people are walking on soft ground.
Okay.
Whenever you're on a soft ground, the earth comes up to meet your foot.
Okay.
If you step on the beach, your foot actually creates an impression whereby the sand comes up to meet the foot.
Okay.
Now, on the concrete, your foot is the one that's going to go down to meet the ground, because that's not moving anywhere to come up.
So
there's no
not
give.
A healthy situation.
Yes. Barefoot, the whole barefoot idea only works if you're going to be walking in grass, soft sand.
On the beach.
On the beach.
The park.
How many people get the chance to do that? That barefoot idea, trying to compare yourself to somebody in Africa walking on soft ground while you're spending your whole day on hard concrete, won't work.
Okay.
Because the barefoot idea will create more problems for you because you're not in the same environment whereby those people are.
Okay, so for all you that think that barefoot is going to help you, in this concrete jungle we live in, it's not going to help.
No, it's going to create problems.
And even if you, I guess in your home, you're saying, even on a wooden floor or a rug, it's still not the same as being out there in nature.
Yes.
Okay.
The barefoot idea is always good out in nature, yes.
Okay, so that's kind of a misnomer for you all that think the barefoot's going to help you. Before we close out, is there anything you'd like to add or tell our listeners?
The most important thing you always have to remember is that the foot is probably the most important part of the body, because the foot is the foundation of your whole body. Once the foot starts to go, everything follows. It's like you look at your feet as the foundation of your whole body.
Right.
So you're basically think about your feet as the foundation of a house.
Right.
Once the foundation starts to go, it doesn't matter how pretty the structure above it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down. Sooner or later, as they grow older, the knee starts to have arthritic joints,
right,
arthritic hips, back problems, because it starts to throw everything off.
Okay.
Yes.
Now y'all hear that, because I can attest to that. I mean, I've had foot problems since 1984.
Yes.
And I've found some solutions that has helped me.
Okay.
But I can tell you, I've had back pains for I don't know how long. I've had chiropractors tell me that I got one side of my body is higher than the other. So my whole skeleton is like shifted to one side. I've had neck problems. I haven't really had a lot of problems with my knees, but I've had different pains, throughout my body. And a lot of that, as you heard Hugh talk about, can be and is possibly contributed to your feet. So make sure y'all taking care of your feet out there. Okay, great. Well, that's all we have today, folks.